Hi, it's Joe Lindsley in Kyiv, American. I've been reporting every single weekday of Russia's full-scale invasion live from Ukraine on Chicago's WGN Radio, 10 minutes a day, 3:20 p.m. in the afternoon Ukraine time, 7:20 in Chicago. And recently, and this happened yesterday, I've had sometimes trouble connecting. So yesterday for my broadcast on Monday, August 5th, all of a sudden, none of my systems were working, none of my internet connections, everything was failing uh, all at once. Bizarre, perhaps just coincidence, or maybe some kind of attack. And so I only got 1 minute. I had 1 minute to speak during my segment before it was time for the 7:30 news in Chicago, and then I don't we don't I don't have that to share with you, with those who follow these reports. But what I chose to say on the spot during those 60 seconds that I did have when I was able to connect, such a huge number of people missing arms and legs. This I mean this is just one of the one of the high cost of the war of the resistance of the insistence on being free. Something like more than 100,000 Ukrainians are missing a limb. I think it could be much more than that. And you see this everywhere you go. I was at a cafe for a meeting here in Kiev, and the table next to us, there seemed to be a mother, a veteran, and his girlfriend. And at first, I could tell the guy was a veteran because he had no arms. Still waiting for his prosthetic arms, and he had no arms, and he was sipping beer with a straw and smiling and laughing. And then I was talking with an American who's helping here, and he described he was at a pub with about 10 veterans. He said with among 10 guys there were 7 legs and not enough hands and arms to hold all the beers they were drinking. Um, and I mean, this is it's heavy. It's difficult. I mean, but one thing you realize is all these people, everyone around them is grateful that they're still here, alive. I think a lot of people, would say, oh, they'd prefer death to losing a limb, but when you see the reality, it's better to be alive. But it's such a heavy toll, and so this is part of the evil that Russia continues to inflict upon Ukraine. I was also talking with a well-known war photographer, a great guy from the UK, who lost 2 legs in Afghanistan when he stepped in a landmine and an arm. And he still comes back to war zones and does amazing work. It's a great personality, great person, Giles Dooley. And he said, that people put on a good face and they're laughing and joking, raising the pint glass, but how awful and difficult and painful it is. Say in the middle of the night you got to go to the bathroom. Well, we don't think about this, but you gotta you don't have time to put your legs on, so you gotta crawl on the floor to the bathroom. The pain, the all kinds of trauma, and how in some ways you never get used to it. So these are such superheroes and people of such energy and optimism here that we're surrounded by. Um, but they go through hell and they've given up a lot. And we think of this as we look at the Olympics. We see superhero feats at the Olympics, but especially see that here in Ukraine. And think of all the athletes that aren't there because they're in the trenches or because they're dead. And this is what is being allowed to happen again. And Ukraine is still amazingly restricted from hitting Russian bases deep into Russia. So Russia can attack with impunity from these places. Why? Why? That's the question. Anyway, this is Joe Lindsley, my ad hoc report uh, from yesterday, from 5th of August, and we'll post later tonight today's report on WGN, reporting every single day, every single weekday from the beginning of the full-scale invasion, and I intend to do it until victory. Thank you. UkrainianFreedomNews.com.